Hello and welcome to 101 Ideas for Minecraft Learners. My name is Professor Adam and I'm going to be showing you this week how to create floating text. Now floating text is an amazing, look, you can see it just behind me. It says let's create some floating text. Floating text is great for putting up little bits of text for everybody, for kind of different kinds of creative writing projects as well. So look at this, anywhere I move around this text, it is always facing me. It's been called kind of like holographic text. It's pretty fun. Okay, now some people think this is hard to do. It's not hard to do at all. It's dead easy, and you can kind of create all sorts of ways of doing it. So let's show you what this actually is. If I go into game mode 3, I can actually I can fly through the landscape and stuff like that. But I also can see all these invisible things as well. So this is actually an invisible armor stand that has been named. Go back to game mode 1. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the code needed to create this object here, and also I'm going to show you some techniques about how to put it into the ground and how to use pressure plates to trigger these messages, because it would be great to kind of just well, let's get rid of this one and I'll show you what I mean. So first of all, how do we get rid of this thing? Well, I can't actually, it's, I could break all this stuff, but it's always going to remain there. I can't actually hit it either because it's invincible. But I can, because it's an entity within Minecraft, I can use a piece of code to kill it. Now, you've got to be careful with this stuff because you can kill all sorts of stuff. So here it is, here's the code. So I'm going to copy paste this. So it basically says /kill @E and then open square bracket type equals armor stand, comma, because I want to put another command in here, within a radius of 2. So within a radius of 2 blocks, I'm going to kill all the entities that are armor stands. I could even name it, but this is a more useful kind of way of doing it, and it's a short piece of code. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to pop it in here. I'm going to get close to my armor stand. I'm going to get within 2 blocks of it. Press T. Paste that into my chat. And there we go. I've killed that entity. Okay, so let's have a look down here again. And we can see that we've got our command block. And inside the command block, I've got this bit of code here. And I'm going to go and show you my bits of code. So I keep a little bit of a text edit thing over here, which allows me to copy and paste little bits of code really, really nice and easily. So I've got lots of bits of code here. So the one that I'm looking for is, well, let's just use this one. I'm going to highlight it now. So what we're doing is we're summoning an armor stand, and we've got these 3 things here, a tilde with a number behind it, and then another tilde. This is the coordinates of where we want to build, where we want to summon the armor stand from, in relation to where the command block is. Okay, so it's X, Y, and Z. So X, and if we look, let's just go back in here and press done. If I press F3, we get, and I'm in creative mode obviously, we get the reticule right in the center turns into a blue, a green, and a red. The red is X, and it points towards its positive. So, X positive goes in this direction. Goes to Z. The blue is Z, the Z, and that goes positive in that direction. And the Y is the green, and that is all up and down. So positive up. Okay, negative down. So that's what's happening in here. So let's go and have a look back in here and go to this thing here. So it says the X is exactly the same, so it's not going to go left or right from the command block. The Y is 1.5, so I actually can fractionalize it a little bit. So 1.5 blocks up, and then the Z is, again, I'm not going to go left and right. I'm going to be right above the command block, but above it. And then I open curly brackets and it says persistence required 1B, no gravity at 1B, invisibility 1B. So this is all like, do this, have no gravity. These are tags attached to the summoning of the armor stand. What kind of behaviors should this armor stand have? A custom name, visible, 1, and then a comma, and then whatever the custom name is. Now, let's call this hello world. Hello world. And we'll just copy all that, pop it back in here, select this, delete it, paste it back in. Okay, that's great. And now we can just put our stuff back on. I'll get rid of my HUD and everything like that, and I'll put a pressure plate over. The pressure plate is going to trigger, okay, with redstone. A kind of redstone signal is going to travel down, and if I get it in the right place, the redstone signal is going to travel down, and we should get hello world. Okay, so that's summoned. That command there summoned an invisible armor stand that is kind of permanently there. It's not going anywhere. There's got no gravity. So even if I break all this stuff off, it's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to stay there until I kill that entity. And remember, and that's why I keep this nice and handy. So I'm going to just copy that, get nice and close to it, paste /kill at an entity, open square bracket, the type equals armor stand, and it's got to be with a capital A, it's got to be with a capital S, and then a comma within the radius of 2 blocks. So you could have it within a radius of more. If you didn't do that, you could accidentally kill every entity, including yourself, if you don't kind of do all these things. And it can be a tiny bit messy, and I've made a few mistakes like that before. So using this method, you can kind of create all sorts of really interesting effects. So let's just step on this pressure plate here and take a look at what I've done. So welcome to 101 ideas for Minecraft learners. Now they're a little bit far away, so you can use that. At the moment, we're just kind of we're using 3 command blocks underneath, and you can kind of see here, we've got some redstone underneath, right underneath that pressure plate. So that pressure plate triggers the redstone underneath within that hollow, and then whatever is connected to these areas, and we can actually have about 5 command blocks connected to one thing. So that's 1 at the back, 2 at the side, 1 here, down, and there's also 1 below you can even have as well. All those command blocks have got different commands in. So let's have a look at this one. So that's just the welcome to, and we go all the way to here, and we can kind of see what we're doing is we're saying you be 3 up, 1 in the positive X. So if you have a look here, you see the red reticule in there is pointing in that direction. So that goes 1 across. And so you've got to kind of use your coordinates. So hey, there's a little bit of maths in there as well at the same time. So you could do all sorts of really interesting things. Now another thing you could do is one last thing is well, here's some examples of these things over here. Here's me playing around with it. But one other thing you can do is you can actually get rid of this pressure plate as well. So once you've triggered it, I mean, at the moment, the armor stands are actually on top of the pressure plate, constantly triggering it, okay, which is quite interesting. One thing we can do is we can actually get rid of the pressure plate completely, so once you've triggered them, you can't re-trigger them at all again. And the way to do that is to clone a little bit of air underneath on top of that as well. So the way we're going to do that is you're going to use the clone command. So you're going to get loads of commands in this tutorial. So the clone command works a little bit like this. So I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put a pressure plate here. I'm going to show you how we can delete that, okay? So first of all, press T, and we're going to write in clone. And that gives us the usage of the command for clone. So clone works like this. Clone X, something from the X, something from the Y, something from the, from this one. You need 2 points because it'll clone from 2 areas. Imagine it's going to be, let's get a bit of wool to show this. So area 1 starts from like here, and then area 3 will be, the next area will be kind of like up there. And then, so you have these 2 points like this, the X 1 point and the X and the Y 2 points. So these are the 2 points. Anything within these 2 points, okay. So this would clone a cube like that. Well, kind of on a cuboid. All right. So it's connecting everything in those points like that. But we want to just clone a little bit of air above this, or wherever, so wherever there's going to be some air, on top of this one. Now, the way we're going to do this is we're going to go back to F3. Wherever I look at a cube, okay, so say I'm looking at this one here, and you need a little bit of paper to write all this stuff down. Once you pressed F3, you get all this gubbins on the left-hand side. But if you look right at the bottom bit below, it says looking at, and it gives you 3 coordinates. So that actually gives you the coordinates of whatever block you're looking at, the actual where that block is situated within the space of Minecraft. So this green block here in front of me is where is the thing that we're gonna delete. And even though it's a pressure plate that's gonna be flat, it takes up that entire space. So that's going to be 11473, that's the Y, and 92. Okay. So that's what we want to delete, and we want to use some air. We'll use some air from above here. So I'm going to just put a green thing here so I can look at that space there. So we're going to use the 114. Okay, so it's on the same thing. 74, so it's a little bit higher, 1 higher, and 94. Okay. So we're going to use the air, we're going to clone the air from here, and we're going to clone it onto this area here, thus deleting this pressure plate. So let's just do this, let's work all this stuff out. So it is clone, right, 114, 74, 94. Remember, this is the air above the command block. And we want to use that again because it's 2 values, but it's exactly the same value because it's just one block. 114, 74, 94. Okay. Now, where do we want to put it? We want to put it where the pressure plate is, which is 114, 73, 92. And it looks like a crazy amount of numbers, but it's just like 2 values. From where to where, and where do you want to put it? I want to put it here. Okay. So once we've done that, we can then get a switch. Okay. I'm going to pop a switch on the side and then just press. Watch it. Boom. That has disappeared. So you can use a command block down here to delete, the block right here. The pressure plate, which is pretty cool, which is what some of the things I did when I did my poetry stuff. So as you walk along the path, you're triggering these things, and then you can't trigger them again because you're getting rid of that the pressure plates that are used as the triggers. So that's a couple of things that you can do. And remember, to find out all about these things, to find out about the clone command, just write clone into the command, and it gives you the kind of usage. And so that's, so you could do mask mode and clone mode, but I'm not going to be talking about those 2 things yet. I'm just giving you the basic, simple kind of things just to get you started. And then if you want to go in more depth, hey, there's tons of YouTube videos out there, and that's where I will learn all this stuff too. So this stuff is very useful for kind of creating visual poems that you can walk around and look at. Also maybe messages in the sky, or maybe even kind of words around an environment that you've created. So again, using kind of maybe for English literature, maybe for kind of or kind of any kind of literature, but thinking about words, and you want to see words within the Minecraft environment. And I think it's a really interesting way of doing stuff as well. So another way of using words is obviously the say command, which is you can actually say hello, which I've got down here, and I've got another one which is say hello, mum. Now, what I've done with this one is that says at hello world. This one says Professor Adam, hello mum. And the way I've done that is I can use an anvil, and I can rename a command block. So I could say the story says. Okay. And I'll get rid of that, and I'll put the story says here. Once upon a time, and press done. And then if we walk over this, say once upon a time. That's a bit better. And walk over it. The story says, once upon a time. So, you can kind of do these things. You can kind of create interesting effects and stuff like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got any questions about floating text or anything like that, do leave in the comments below, and I'll try and get back to you. I'm going to be doing how to do some audio stuff as well very shortly, and also this giant typeface in the background, how to get this into your maps and do cool things like that. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. Do hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you all later. Bye!